limitless curiosity? Join us on the Being Curious Show, where we curiously connect teachers and seekers in a safe space, exploring a vast array of topics that spark the flame of curiosity within you. We've created a community for thoughtful discussions where teachers share their wisdom and seekers explore the depths of their curiosity. It's a space where diverse perspectives come together, fostering connection and understanding. Our intention is simple: to ignite your curiosity and create a life that totally lights you up. Every conversation is a journey, a chance to explore, learn, and embrace the magic that life has to offer. Connect with the Being Curious Show on all major podcast platforms at the Edge Network, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Being Curious Show.
Hey.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh my gosh, my microphone today is like, whoop, kind of have a mind of its own. How are you, Cheryl?
I am fabulous. How are you? We have sunshine like 2 days in a row. What is that?
I mean, I know. Are we lucky?
We are lucky. Many ways we're lucky, but sunshine always adds a little bonus to it on a Tuesday.
You're in a new space for this show.
On the other side of the door is my new canvas, my new studio, my new creation. My painter is here. She's underway, and I can't wait on our next show to bring you what the new studio looks like. So I'm in the this is another room I created. This is more called my theater room. I come in here, I do a little bit of sitting and a little maybe of watching my Minnesota Twins. So sorry that the big black eye is behind me, but that's the only angle we could get that didn't have that had anything actually. So here we go.
Today's all about space, isn't it?
I know. Could it not be more perfect?
No, I mean, you can't make this up.
Nope. So I just finished the big purge. The purge took me a couple of months. The carpet came in the 1st of June. Now we're the 1st of July. Paint's coming in, and the canvas is going to be created for a new space. So I think our guest today is like the perfect guest to have on this day while we're creating this new canvas and this new space. When she talks about Feng Shui, how to put art into her Feng Shui. This lady is amazing, so I can't wait to bring her on.
Well, without further ado, we are bringing in Miss Carole Hyder. Hello, Carole. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We are so excited that you're here.
Well, I'm excited to be here. I love to talk about Feng Shui, of course.
Hey, Carole, do me a favor.
Yes.
For those, Feng Shui for a long time was like, it was the buzzword, right? It was always the buzzword. Tell me the basics. For those people who are kind of going, what does it mean and where do I start? What do you say to them?
Well, the caption that the little encapsulated phrase that I would talk about is the fact that your space reflects your life. And so what if we unpack that a bit, it means that you can look around and see, if there's chaos in your space, I'll bet you anything, there's some chaos in your life. Or if you look around and you're like, I really don't like a lot of this stuff, I've outgrown it. What is that doing to you? And there's a lot of, now, I've been in Feng Shui for over 30 years, and now there's a lot of neuroscience behind it. There's been studies done, not necessarily, they never call it, we're studying Feng Shui. They just talk about space and impact and how do people heal and how do they thrive, and if they're sick, does that room help them and whatever. But it's becoming accepted from the scientific standpoint that your space can help you heal, or it can help you succeed, or it can help you spiral out of control. And so, I've seen so many spaces that it's easy for me to walk in and help them figure out what's wrong with their life, because I just have, gotten a lot of information over the years. And so it's really, it sounds simple, but it isn't, because, first of all, a lot of people find that a hard concept to accept. Like, it's my house, what does it matter? And the truth is it matters in many ways, not only in the present, but you can set up your space for the future. Like, let's say you want to write a book and there's not one place in your house in which you would do that. Well, how's that going to work? Like, How about you take that, part of a room, or create one of your spare rooms for your writing room, like let's create this so it can happen easily. So it's always eye-opening for people, and it's a powerful expression of who you are. That's really, I guess, the best way to say it.
Mhm.
So,
So, Carole, if we were going to start off with a clean canvas, where do you start when you walk into someone's house?
well, there's two places that are really important. One is the front entry, because that's sort of like your calling card, like what's happening at the front entrance. And the problem here is a lot of people don't use their front entrance unless you live in an apartment or a condo, don't have a choice. But if you have a single family home, the garage is in back or the garage is attached. You come in a side door, you come in the back. Or with because of fencing and all that, you'd have to like walk all the way around half a block to get to your front. Now, like I get it, but the point here is your front door still needs to be appealing. But the most important room is your bedroom. It's where you sleep and you dream. You can heal there. It's an intimate space. A lot of times you get ideas there, and if it's cluttered or you don't like the color, I mean, I can spend an hour with somebody in their bedroom and we just kind of go through a checklist of, here's what happens. And it's, I get it. I totally understand this, but so many times I've stood in a bedroom and I'll see the color on the wall and I'll say, did you paint this? And they'll go, no. Well, do you like this color? Well, no, actually, I really don't. It was from the previous owner. So, gee, now you got their energy still there. And furthermore, you don't like it. Now, if I would have heard, I really love this color, it is from the previous owner, I can get around that because they love it. But you got, and it's the one place you want your nest. It's the one place where it's more private. You can create what you want. It's really the one place where I kind of draw the line on make it Zen. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't, but that's the room. Less is more in the bedroom. Just keep it simple and clear. And this is not a place for workout equipment. It's not a place for storage. It's not a place for an office. And sometimes people, it's where they have to office. And so we do a workaround on that one. But it should be your sanctuary where you go in and you go, oh my God, I love it here. And if you don't love it, then figure out why. Let's spend some time figuring out why, because I have a million, options that they could think about. Just sometimes rearranging, sometimes new color on the wall, sometimes different artwork. I'll give you an example, and without naming names, of a bedroom issue. I went to a young woman's home who had just remarried, and she had two little kids with her previous husband, and then they got divorced and she married this other guy. But they were staying in the house where she had been with her previous husband. And she had the most stunning, beautiful picture above the bed. It was a painting, and I don't know if that was original, but it was really lovely. And I said, oh my gosh, tell me about that. And she said, oh, we bought that on our honeymoon, except it was with the first husband. And meanwhile, her second husband's standing there saying, is that where you got it? Is that how that happened? And so it was beautiful, but inappropriate, totally inappropriate. And of course, you could see on the look on his face, he's like, that thing is out of here. But, and why was I there? I was there because they were struggling with their relationship. They hadn't been married very long, but she had these two little kids, and he's trying to get used to that. And, let's put a painting of my previous marriage in here. So, we think those things don't matter.
Right.
We think they're just on the wall, or it's just a color. It doesn't matter. It matters. It matters on a level that you aren't aware of. and get it happening in many places in your home. There's illness, there's depression, there's addiction, there's all sorts of things that come up.
Absolutely.
Mirrors in your bedroom. Talk to us about that. I know that's what I thought you'd do. Tell us about mirrors because right?
I love it, Carole. I love it.
For all our listeners out there, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah. They're active. Mirrors, you put up a mirror and it, reflects other things around. And so this is why we don't like them. It just, in a place where it should be your sanctuary, now you've got things blinging back and forth and, a lot of times I will query people about, do you use that mirror? Especially the ones over a dresser. Do you stand there and, fix, because if they do, then the thing to do is to really get some gorgeous fabric and cover it at night. But if they go, most of the time, I would say 75% of the time, you'll go, yeah, no, I don't use that mirror. Well, guess what? You've got some great real estate on that wall. How about take that mirror out of here and put up some great scene or, some painting and like absorb that, because it's just making the room bigger and, wonky and less sleep. And gosh, I've just seen, that seems improbable to most people. They're like, I don't know, I'll try it. And then, of course, the report back is, I can't believe I took that dang mirror out. And I think it's just coincidental, but I feel better. I'm sleeping better. Sure.
What about TVs in the bedroom?
Oh, yeah, we hate that too. See, think about this as your sanctuary. Just think about that. But again, there are people who just swear by them, who say, I can't go to sleep at night unless I have a TV. I go to sleep. It's the only way I can go to sleep. Or I get up in the morning and I have to watch the stock market. I have to know this. That's what they are. They're, they're into stocks and they're traders and they need to know. Well, I get it. There's EMFs. There's often a big black hole that sucks energy out. And so, there's workarounds. There's always workarounds. I usually try to create a scenario of what if the TV were down the hall? What if you had soft music going instead of a TV at night? What if you had fabric over the TV before you go to sleep? And the best scenario I've seen is a man I worked with who would sleepwalk. He'd be in his car and he'd go, holy crap, what am I doing in my car? It's the middle of the night. But he would sleepwalk. And I went to his house and we talked about his bedroom. He had a TV. And I said, so tell me about the TV. And he said, well, I don't really watch it in here. And I said, because his bedroom was very well put together. He's a very self-aware young man. And he said, well, I'll get it out of here. And honest to God, he called me a few days later and he said, I haven't sleepwalked. I'm not sleepwalking. TV. That was extreme and it was surprising, but I was really happy. I was happy that he did it, because sometimes people are like, yeah, I'll put it on my list. But he did it, and he did it the day I left. After I left, he took that TV out. So, yeah, they're noise. They're noisy. They take you out of the frame of reference of what a bedroom should be, which is quiet and introverted. It's the one room that can be dark colors. In fact, we kind of encourage it. And some people really like darker grays and deep aubergine colors. That's fine. I'm not a big proponent of them through the house because they get a little heavy, but in your bedroom, what a perfect place to just nest. It's like your little cave.
So you wouldn't suggest orange for a bedroom?
I would not. It's a good deduction. No, I wouldn't.
I love orange, but I don't have it in my bedroom. So, Carole, no TVs in your bedroom, no mirrors in your bedroom. Yeah, rock on. I do not have either of those. But what's interesting is furniture was designed for many, 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 many years that the lowball dresser always had a mirror.
Yeah.
That's the way furniture came for years and
Yeah.
years and years.
Yeah.
And so I know my mom and dad have one in their bedroom. They had a lovely marriage for 61 years, so I don't know what that was about. But it came attached to their dresser, and so and when she bought our set at Ethan Allen years ago, it came with a mirror, right? And so that's kind of the thing. So it's interesting what we get sold and what really helps us balance our energy.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. And a lot of those mirrors are too low.
Right.
You know, like if you know, and I'm not very tall, but I would even stand in front of it and it's like, you know, part of my head was cut off. Like if you were, you know, 6 foot, you couldn't use that mirror anyway because it's too low to be practical. So you can certainly put a, you know, put a mirror in the closet, you know, where you're dressing. That would make sense. You know, somewhere you should have a full length mirror somewhere, just not in the bedroom, but somewhere where you can see yourself from head to toe. And it isn't just about fashion. It's about who you are.
Right.
You know, you can see yourself, you know, from your shoes up to your head. And there's a real self-awareness that happens. But not, you know, closet makes good sense. The bathroom makes a good place for it. Sometimes in a hallway, I'll see they'll have a full-length mirror, and it's like, yeah, that works. That would work. Mm-hmm.
So, Carol, my full-length mirror is in the hallway.
Yeah.
And Kelly, you're not going to be surprised, but it has bling all the way around it.
Of course it does.
So I'm very much the glitter girl and the queen of shine. And so I was gifted this beautiful mirror that is a full length mirror, and it has rhinestones all the way around it.
Cool.
But I wouldn't put it in my bedroom. But it is right outside my bathroom, so I can.
Hey, you can look. Yeah.
Well, my daughter has a full length. It's my old full length mirror in her bedroom, and I'm like, okay, we're pulling that out today. Like,
yes, we are. Or
like
she can
we're
put
pulling
it in
that
the
out today.
closet and pull it out if she needs it. But yeah.
It's bigger than I am.
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! Wow.
It's a massive mirror. Okay, another question I had for you. So I'm glad I asked the mirror question. How about let's move to the kitchen and keeping, well, I'd love tips and tricks in the kitchen, but also the importance of keeping your stove clean.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You know, so much about Feng Shui that I have found intriguing is that there's like an ulterior meaning behind, I don't know, ulterior isn't the right word, but a hidden meaning behind something. So here's how the stove came about. It represents, well, it represents health, number one, because it's where you cook and all that, but it also represents money. And the story behind this is that when a high official in early China would travel by cart, if he had a lot of, if he was wealthy, he would have an entourage. And then at night, when they would pull over to sleep, they would build fires for the food. And if there was just one fire, that meant there weren't very many people there. So that means whoever was traveling didn't have a lot of people, didn't have a lot of help, was maybe not very wealthy. But if there were a lot of fires going, like 5, 6 fires, wow, this guy was important, because there was all this food being prepared and all these people. And so your burners represent these fires. And the more fires you have, the more there's a message, an underlying message that there is abundance. Now that can be abundance money-wise, it can be abundance health-wise, it can be abundance, with friends, it can be abundance with just life, feeling blessed. But it also can mean money. And so when I see somebody's stove and I always ask about burners, like, tell me about them. I mean, do they work? Not tell me about them. Do your burners work? And when one isn't working, it's generally I am there because of money, almost always. And, it may not be dire. There have been a few where it was dire, that I was called in, and they had two burners that weren't working. So it's, it's an sort of unspoken metaphor about that. And um, I think the thing that drives home this same point is people don't realize how space impacts them. And it's like, that makes no common sense, of course, that your burners not working would mean you would struggle with money. How would you, how would you compute that? But the energy behind that is pretty logical. It's like, well, look at what they stand for, and you're missing some. And therefore, it's not a surprise. I don't see too many, and sometimes it's a money issue because you can't afford to fix it. But I seldom see burners not working in people who are not even wealthy. They're just, average people, and they keep their things up and repair as needed. So that's the story in that. And they should be kept clean. They need to be, I mean, I'm not, it's uncomfortable for me to say clean your stove, but I've been known to say that, because if it's just gunked up and, eventually those burners, especially if it's a gas burner, it's not going to work. It's going to get all clogged up. And so,
have you ever asked someone to get a new stove?
Have I? I've never said that. I think sometimes someone might have said, do I have to get a new stove? And you don't have to, unless the thing is just really a piece of junk and not much is working on it, of course. But usually it can be remedied. We dance between the mundane of cleaning the stove, but also, could you hang a crystal above your stove? And which of course emanates some beautiful energy, some really beautiful balancing energy. And would that not fix the stove, but would that offset the fact that there's some, issue here? And that's what's so beautiful about this modality, is that the answer to that is yes, of course. And, it doesn't make clutter necessarily go away. In fact, usually if people ask, can I just hang a crystal in this junk room? Yeah, no, that's usually an excuse. Like, then I don't have to deal with my junk. But, it depends on, of course, it always depends on the motivation. Like, I can't afford to fix this right now. I can't afford to, get a new front door, but could I hang a crystal close by? We love these little round faceted crystal. Or could I hang a wind chime by that just helps to offset its missing, the missing vitality, and certainly done with the right intention. Of course it could.
And couldn't you, Carole, also put into that crystal the intention of, I'm going to hang this here and use my stove as the ones that work, but the crystal is going to draw more energy for me to be able to afford that, to get maybe a new stove or get this one fixed. So it's really important when you hang that crystal, you don't just hang it, but you really set it with an intention.
There's a whole procedure on how to set the intention. Yeah, that's a really important piece.
Awesome.
Yeah, because a lot of people will say, well, all right, I'm just going to get 4 crystals and I'll just hang them around here. It's like, well, you're kind of missing the point here. Yeah. Less is more. You don't need all that. Sometimes you just need to. Sometimes there's rooms where it kind of begs you to come in. It just needs you. It doesn't need a crystal or a wind chime or red fabric or something. It needs you, because and sometimes those are guest rooms and they look kind of a little sad, and I'll put a plant in there, and then you go in and you water it, and so it gets you in there. But certainly an adjustment is like a trigger, and if you see that crystal or you see that wind chime, it's like a trigger. Yeah, because we get busy and can't keep it in our imagination.
Perfect. Kelly, is it time to go on a little break and advertise Miss Carole?
I was just about to say, I think it's time for a little break. We will be right back. Is your space aligned with your dreams? Do you feel inspired when you walk in the door? Carole Hyder can help you create a space that you love, where you thrive, and where you always want to be. Using her 29 years of experience as a Feng Shui consultant, teacher, author, and trainer, she can help you bring forth the inspired essence of your home or office, making it a place where you feel whole and safe. Learn the specific Feng Shui adjustments that Carole has seen as the most important, such as determining which room in your home should be your favorite, why your stove may be affecting your health, and why your office may be holding you back. Contact Carole at 612-823-5093 or carolehyder.com to discuss the specifics with a personal appointment. By elevating the energy of your space, it becomes sacred and you will be forever changed. Contact Carole at Carole Hyder, that's CaroleHyder.com. It's funny, I have the book with the crystals.
Oh yeah, isn't that a cool little book?
It's a great little book.
Yeah, that was written by a friend of mine, Terry Perrin. It's a great book on crystals. Mm-hmm. Oh, Living Feng Shui.
Yes. And this is a great, and it's a fun read. And then I love the little
bookmark.
The little bookmark.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Okay, well, something that we got flashed in your commercial, which is lovely, is you are also, I'm going to talk about your art, but let's talk about cats for just a moment.
Oh, yes, let's.
Because I know how much you love kitties.
I do. I have been, from little on, I don't know why or how it ever came about, but I loved cats and have been catless only not very long. I usually always have one or three. Just have several. And right now, that last photo was Louie, our current cat, who is adorable. I find them mysterious and intriguing. There's something about them. And I've been involved in a cat shelter up in, I just stepped down from my presidency there. I've been president for a number of years, and it's a cat shelter called Caring for Cats, and it's lovely. It's a beautiful little place. We did a lot of feng shui in that shelter, and it's really paid off. And I had to not go in too often because it was hard to see these little cats and hear their sad story. They're all there because there's some sad story, and that was hard on me. But they're doing really good work. They're just.
But you're what you created and what the team created, Cheryl. These cats are taken better care of than, right? And they do Reiki, and I mean, they're so well cared for and so loved.
Yeah. We have also an energy healer who, if there's a cat that they just can't quite get to the bottom of, they'll hire her. No, actually, I think she volunteers her time to check in with the cat, and
Awesome.
And has given them, and there's a number of people who are like, what, what's that? But she's always spot on, and I use her for my cat, Louie. Mm-hmm. So it is a really lovely place. It's there are no cages unless there's a real a feral cat that we need to control, but most of them are in little rooms. They profile them by personality and figure out who sits in what, who's with what. Then they get little, kittens will get little buddies. And so somebody comes in and say, I want that. It's like, yeah, but you got to take that one too, because they're now their buddies.
I love it.
They don't want to separate. So anyway, it is a very special, all the volunteers get to know every cat right down to the, to the core. And so, they have some good boundaries that the staff does about who will be able to get a cat. Because what we don't like, and it's what's so hard on cats, is they adopt out and then, it didn't work out, or we had a dog, or the baby didn't like the cat, and then they bring the cat back. Now we have double trauma, and that cat doesn't forget that kind of thing very easily. So anyway, harder. I always say it's harder to get a cat from caring for cats than it is to buy a car.
It is. They're very like they're not joking, and
No,
it's
no,
they're looking for forever homes. It's beautiful.
it is. It's
Awesome.
really pretty. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, I just wanted to have a little cat moment, just
Oh,
for
thank
fun.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
You
Hey, but
have
I'm
a
gonna say what? Oh, I'm sorry, Kelly. Go ahead.
well, you're an artist too. So
Well, that's
how
what I was
did
gonna say in that commercial, right?
Yeah.
I
Tell
mean, like
us.
stunning. How did Feng Shui play into your art, or how does it play into your art?
Oh, yeah. It feeds into it enormously. I have. I didn't just wake up one day. I've always had some kind of art going on in my life, and in fact, business that I had before this was in printmaking, and it turned commercial, and it was really great. And then I sold it when Feng Shui came along. But I've just have had to have my hand in something creative. And about 10, 12 years ago, I've found a bunch of my acrylic paints and had a room in our house that I could paint in as a studio. And it was just for me, and it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. And then uh, I think the first thing is one of my students is an interior designer, and she was having an art show. She represented a number of artists, and I'm like, wow, I don't know. And it was the first time I'd gotten public feedback, and wow, that was eye opening, and it was very fun. It was very. I really enjoyed the experience. It was about 2 or 3 days. We were sitting somewhere. I don't remember where it was, and I thought, I ought to push this down the road a little bit more. And so, but because I live with intention as part of my motto, every one of those paintings, as I was really evolving into the art field, has some kind of intention behind it. And a lot of times, I will write the word on the canvas before I start, or I'll write a phrase, and then I paint all over it, so nobody really knows. But I write haikus then after I painted them, and so every painting has a little haiku, which ties into what was its intention when I started. But I also learned that I cannot drive that, because sometimes I'd go, well, this is all about peace. This is about, just inner peace and that. And then I would come away then I would, be painting and thinking of peaceful colors. And it's like, no, I want red. And I go, no, we can't have red on this. This is peace. And so I had to get some conversations going with the art muse or whomever that was, and realized that was exactly what was needed. And so it's fun. I find that I definitely enjoy the process. It's very rewarding. I've had to let go of some paintings that I go, oh, I want to add that little thing right there. And they're like, no, we are done here. Just walk away, put that palette knife down and walk away. And so it's been a collaborative effort. I hope someday I can meet whoever that is that's really driving it. But it's opened some doors for me. I've had some other exhibits, and now I have one opening on the 18th of July at the Arboretum. And then on the 20th, I'm giving a little talk there, and then the tour of the exhibit. So
tell us where your art will be at the Arboretum.
right outside, it's in the restaurant hallway, right outside of the little cafe.
In the cafe.
Yes.
And this is the Minnesota Arboretum, because we do have people
Fantastic.
watching from all over the country.
Yeah,
So
Minnesota Arboretum. Yeah, there's 61 feet of walls. So I've had to produce a fair amount of work. But a lot of my canvases are 3 or 4 feet wide, so it wasn't terrible. But yeah, it's good exposure. I'm really, it was a happenstance that it came about, and I'm thrilled to be part of it. It's great. It's a solo exhibit. No one else will be exhibiting up there but me.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
It is.
nice.
Yeah.
So how
Carol,
long does
that's a
the
big
exhibit run
deal.
for?
Like, you're being so calm. Like, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It'll hit me when I see
Okay.
everything. Yeah, it'll
Right.
hit me. Because right now I'm involved in the, paperwork and labeling and, inventory list and
Oh, I
all
get
of
it.
that. And how am I going to get them all there? And, the stuff there.
I call it the muggle part of our work. It's the muggle part. So on Harry
Yeah.
Potter, the muggles don't have the magic. And when we have to do that work, I feel like a muggle. And I'm not really, it's that work that just, I'll even
I
do the
know.
dishes before I'll do the paperwork, right, Carol? It's like, but yeah, it's that muggle work you're in. But as soon as you get there and 61 feet of your work is like,
Yeah.
pow,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah,
gonna be pretty
I'm
powerful.
sure. Because
Pretty powerful.
I don't have room in where we live now to put up even a third of what we have. So they're sitting all over. And so it'll be interesting to see them all lined up. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Awesome.
it'll be cool.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
And the dates are
July 18th through August 25th.
nice.
And you can get, they have an entry fee at the Arboretum, no matter what. I mean, if you're just going out there to just eat lunch, but there's an entry fee. And if people order online, it's $20. If they just show up, it's $25.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
Absolutely. Order online.
absolutely.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it is good. And I've used them. I've had clients now hire me to do a Feng Shui painting. They have used me for Feng Shui, and now the painting thing's becoming more obvious. And that's been really enjoyable. I've really, because I know the client and I know the place, and that's been fun. So
Very cool.
yeah,
That's really funny because I was just about to ask you if you ever did that. Like,
Yeah.
even like that couple that had just been married and she was
yeah,
had the painting from the previous honeymoon, to be able to go into the bedroom and be able to have something created after you. I think that's powerful.
yeah. It would be, yeah, and it's very personal. Obviously, if they give me something here, copy this. That's not how I work. But I do want to know color, like what are your color preferences? Because mine are all botanicals, they're all florals, which is why I'm such a good fit out at the Arboretum
Oh yeah.
garden place. So don't expect me to do boats. I won't be painting boats or teddy bears. I do florals. So if you don't like that thought, then I'm not the right person. But I can work with colors, and I want to know what your color preferences might be. So then we go from there. See what happens.
That's
And
fantastic.
then I can write specific intentions behind it, because here's the people, and so they tell me what they want, and I write it under there and paint over it.
So if someone was interested in working with you,
Mm-hmm.
how we have the banner going at the bottom. What, because there's and I'm bouncing back to Feng Shui. There are what you can read online. Like, let me ask you this. How dangerous, and maybe danger is the wrong earth word for it, of just going online and looking at the top 10 things you should do for your home regarding Feng Shui. What advice do you have for people not to do that?
No, it's a place to start if you don't know anything
Okay.
about it. I read all that stuff, and only once in a
How
while.
accurate is it?
For the most part, it's fine. A lot of
Okay.
it's just very generic, like have a headboard. Okay, any feng shui book should tell you that. I mean, you should have a headboard, or what else? No, declutter. I mean, that's been driven into the ground for years with Marie Kondo and all that. But that is a big premise here. Everything's energy. Everything has some energy to it, even though if you go, oh, I don't even see that anymore. Well,
Holding energy.
yeah, you do.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
impacting you. So a lot of that is generic, and it's helpful. If you don't know anything about it, yeah, they sure can. But there's nothing like having somebody come into your space and walk through it with you and ask questions, and try to figure out, because there's there's many systems. One system works with when was your house built, even if you weren't the builder, when was it built, and what's the specific direction. And there's a whole it's called Flying Star, and there's a whole story around that. Another system is using something called the 5 Chinese elements, and I know a number of people who just use those. Do you have all of them in every room? That was a good balancing tool. The most prominent one, especially here in the States, is a bagua, which is 8. It's like an 8 grid, 8-sided grid, and certain areas represent certain life issues. Yes, yeah, I like that bookmark. And so there's a wealth area, and there's a partnership area, and there's a children's area, and all that. And so you can work with it that way. And I have been known to overlay all 3 of those. It's a lot of info, and sometimes they contradict each other in some areas, but usually big picture wise, that's a pretty in-depth approach. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. But in the meantime, if you just want to learn a little bit about it, of course you can go online, and I, on my website, I've got a link to blogs I have, over the years, and there's a ton of them on there. A lot of them are health center related. I did a lot of hospital work right before COVID, and clinics, but there's a lot of just house things, what to do in your kitchen, what to do in your bedroom, all that. That'd be very helpful as well. I like it when people have done some reading.
Right.
So it isn't like, what does it mean? We can really hit the ground running if they've got a little background behind it.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. Well, and this month, because you are a columnist for the Edge magazine, to keep or not to keep, that is the clutter. So that kind of ties into what's going on with Cheryl and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Cheryl, I really applaud you for having that kind of a process where you just bring in one thing at a time and something you love. It's the correct way to do it. And although I think a lot of people, and this hasn't happened for years, but in the beginning, people would say, "Do I have to be there when you come over?" Well, did you think I was just going to move your furniture around and take your clutter out? What did you think was going to happen here? Or they would say, I'd give them, lists, and I follow up with them later, and, write up all these reports. And they'll say, well, next weekend I'm going to do all this. Well, let's be thoughtful about this. There's no timeline. I'm not coming back and going, look at here, you didn't get that done. I would never do that. Because sometimes people will actually tell me, you were here like 10 months ago, and I finally found the perfect chair, or I finally found the color I love, and I put in it takes time, and you have to try things on, but and then sometimes some of that's part of the process. So you don't want to just.
Absolutely. And I think the decluttering piece, Carole, is tied into so many emotions.
Yes.
When I do readings with people and I feel like, I can tell you what's in their basement. It's their mom, their dad, their aunt, their uncle, and all their own belongings, right? Yeah. And for me in my cottage, it was, I moved here on a family crisis, and then a family crisis happened, and another family crisis happened. And so that energy was trapped, right? And so I got a very clear vision. It's got to go. It's got to go, and you got to start over. Yeah. And it took I looked back at my calendar yesterday, Kelly, when I was putting some things on for our podcast, and my purge started in February. Can you believe that, Kelly? I originally started the purge in February. That's when I packed up the first 60 boxes. And then it kept going and going and going all the way up to June when I got the carpet. And now I've lived in the very empty for a month, and I'm just not going to bring very much back. And so it's that calling, Carole. It's really been a healing process that I've been going through this whole thing. And I'm just allowing myself the emotions, and new things come up. New things come up every day because I'm sitting here in this clean, really empty, just raw, waiting for, okay, what's next? But you got to get it up and out in order to be creative with it.
Yeah, you sure do. That well said. And certainly from somebody who is a veteran here in terms of the process, because that's really an important thing. You need to allow yourself time to integrate and to see and to feel it, and not to be afraid to say, this isn't working, I'm taking it back, or I'm going to give it away, or I'm going to, chop it up and let it go. It's a process.
Mhm.
It's like therapy. It's like,
It is like therapy.
yeah, it is. It is. So I've used that term, like, if you don't want to go to a therapist, just, clean your house. It'll be therapy for you.
Love it. Love it. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a big process, and it's exciting. It's every emotion on that grid. It's every emotion I've gone through since February till now, just trying to figure out, what stays, what goes, what I heal, what I just forget, what I write and burn, it's all of it. And then bringing back in the new energy.
Yeah. And, don't you know, Cheryl, that when it worked, there had to have been like an aha or a, where you brought something in and went, yeah, that goes there. That's perfect.
My movers thought I was crazy. So they moved me out on a Monday, right? And then I had this amazing carpet man come in. Oh my God, he was singing music and dancing and laughing and filling my place with all this love. And then the next day my movers come back and I had 8 Post-it notes. I brought 8 pieces of furniture back in. Boom, boom. I don't even think that's that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. So like 7 or 8 pieces total. Then they go, what about the rest of it, Cheryl? And I said, I'm going to do it box by box. They go, you're not bringing it in? Nope. So the only thing in my house when I left on that Monday was the clothes I had left from the big purge. So now I have, there's nothing. There's nothing in this house, Carol. And I love it because that's where I'm going to start. Because you got to start a new beginning with it. I got clean carpet. I got clean energy. Oh, in the meantime, my big, huge, gigantic best friend went to live with my niece, Frazier. So I don't even have an animal moving in my house right now. So it's really being in that presence of, wow.
Sanctuary. Wow. It's a sanctuary.
Sanctuary of freedom. And you know what, Carol? It's not always easy because you're not used to it. So you have to kind of just settle in and go with the emotions. And it's been a big learning experience for me. Absolutely big.
Yeah, well, kudos to you for doing it that way, because that's not a natural tendency. I mean, most people are
it was a direct hit from the angels. The angels literally came to me one day during coffee with the angels and said, girl, we're shifting. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And they went, you're getting rid of everything. And I was like, huh? It's been a big thing, and everything is moving exactly as it should. And I'm very excited.
Of course it is. Yeah. Oh, that's a great story.
Isn't that a great, well, what a beautiful way to end our show. I'm so excited. Yeah. Carole, thank you so much for being on today.
Well,
I want to let everyone know you're welcome. You're our pleasure. You are going to be exhibiting at the Minnesota Arboretum July 18th through August 25th.
Yep.
Over a month. Wow, that's good. That's fantastic. And then you're speaking on the 20th. And then more information will be at your website at carolehyder.com. And there is an E in there, everybody, just to let you know. There's an E. Don't forget the E. And it was just delightful to have you on today. You're a regular columnist like Cheryl in the Edge magazine, so definitely check out your Edge magazine. And she's been writing for a while, so I love your advice, and it's always fun, always fantastic to connect with you. Thank you so much for being on today.
And thank you both. It was a delight and an honor.
Thank you, Absolutely. Carol. Us as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Carole. Join us at the Edge magazine, where enlightenment meets opportunity. As an advertiser, you'll reach a vibrant community of seekers and explorers eager to elevate their consciousness. Our full-color glossy publication, distributed to over 600 locations in US and Canada and reaching more than 100,000 readers annually, offers prime exposure to your holistic and metaphysical business, service, event, and products. Showcase your offerings with engaging articles and multi-page directory of practitioners. Connect with a discerning audience ready to embrace your unique contributions to their journey towards higher consciousness.